The stage is set for explosive crypto gains in 2025. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some projections from some of the top experts in investing in Bitcoin and crypto, and including one crazy prediction from one expert that I'm going to get to towards the end of the video. So make sure to watch that towards the end. And I'll also share some bullish news, some recent bullish news from Bitcoin as well. So if that sounds good to you guys, hit the like button and you can follow me. Make sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the latest news and information in alpha. And you can also follow me on Twitter at 𝗧𝗏𝗃 to stay even more up to date. So before I get to this crazy Bitcoin prediction, I'm going to talk about some recent news and kind of the current market setup here. So we had this DeepSeek AI come out, which is the Chinese open source AI, a competitor to 𝗏𝗏𝗃, and they were able to do this AI, which is supposedly more advanced than OpenAI's 𝗏𝗏𝗃, at a lot less cost and a lot less compute power. So that sent the stock market and crypto markets into a tumble as people sort of reassessed what NVIDIA and those other AI plays are actually worth now that we have this new competitor that's seems to be doing things more efficiently. So that's one reason for the drop of the Bitcoin price and crypto market. And then another thing is, which I mentioned before on this channel, is just although we do have the announcement of a strategic crypto stockpile, we don't really have any clear details about when the US government is going to buy Bitcoin. And so that uncertainty, I think, is sort of lending a little bit to the recent Bitcoin crash, which went down a few percentage, and altcoins just getting hammered. But we did have a rebound after they announced that the interest rates are going to stay the same, and that's kind of what people were expecting. And then we did have a little bit of a run from there back up to just under the $105,000 Bitcoin mark. But while there is some uncertainty with the U.S. government buying Bitcoin, before I get to these price predictions, including this ultra bullish one that I'm going to share with you, I'll just go over this article here from 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃, which says the U.S. government will certainly buy Bitcoin. Here's why. So although there's a lot of people worrying about and saying that the U.S. government isn't going to buy any additional Bitcoin, this is a good article about why there's a high probability, and he gives 5 reasons why. So he says a close review of the Trump and his party's stances on crypto alongside their prior actions reveals that Bitcoin reserve is virtually guaranteed at this point. And so the first reason he talks about here is that Trump must honor his loyal lobbyists. In July 2024, Trump appeared at the Bitcoin conference with his promise to establish a strategic national Bitcoin stockpile that would keep all Bitcoin it holds and acquires into the future. And at that conference, Trump raised $25 million for his presidential campaign from wealthy crypto owners and industry leaders. And then it goes on to say, between lobbying efforts and PAC demonstrations or donations, the crypto industry spent $130 million on the 2024 elections. So there's a lot of promises made from Trump and a lot of people that donated to his campaign that are big crypto people. So it's going to suit his interest to deliver on what he promised based on the fundraising that came from there. And then, of course, we had the Trump executive order that he signed about crypto. On the third day of his presidency, he signed the crypto-focused executive order titled Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technologies, established a new working group on digital asset tasked, among other things, to evaluate the potential creation and maintenance of a national Bitcoin and asset stockpile. And then the third factor this guy mentions is that Trump's party is all pro-crypto. Everyone pretty much that he's put into these positions is Republican Party, and they have embraced crypto from top to bottom and has shown no signs of slowing its support with respect to Bitcoin. And we have Trump that owns millions of dollars worth of crypto, from Ethereum to Link and his own Trump meme coin and others, along with other people holding a lot of Bitcoin as well. Recently, we heard Cynthia Lummis, she said that she has 5 Bitcoin, and so she's heavily invested too. So really, she's going to do everything that she can as one of the leaders of this strategic plan to pump her bags, right? And so are the other people in this administration as well. Another reason here is that Republicans hate central banking. So Republican support for crypto is not merely selfish. However, it is ideological. Like many Bitcoin holders, a large swath of the Republican Party is broadly opposed to central banking and promote a return to non-inflationary money. So for example, we had this Thomas Massie who came out with a bill to abolish the Federal Reserve. And I actually made a video about called Will Trump End the Fed? That is one of the best videos I made. It's well researched, and it talks about the creation of the Fed and the IRS and how that really has stifled the American dream and just make it harder for us to obtain financial independence. So I recommend going back and watching that video if you haven't, if you're interested. Also, to add to this, we recently had the Czech Central Bank announce that they wanted to add Bitcoin and put 5% of their reserves into Bitcoin. So basically, this is just going to be an arms race, I think, between different countries where people are going to try to front run and get in and buy Bitcoin before the US. And so that's another bullish thing and a reason why that I think Bitcoin or US and other countries are going to start buying Bitcoin sooner rather than later. So institutional adoption going to potentially drive the Bitcoin price up higher this year. And that's why we have a lot of bullish predictions in this list that I'm going to give you here. So I have 15 experts here, and I'm going to just briefly go through each one and who they are and their price prediction for Bitcoin in 2025. So to get started here, I wanted to include a couple of Bitcoin bears, people that just really hate Bitcoin. And of course, one of these is Peter Schiff, who loves gold and hates Bitcoin. He thinks that Bitcoin is a terrible asset to have. And as you can see, he's a gold advocate, economist, and Bitcoin critic who frequently warns against Bitcoin investments. And he has said that he believes that Bitcoin will go under $10,000 eventually, which is because it lacks intrinsic value, he says, which is crazy to me because I personally don't think the Bitcoin price will ever go below 60K again. That's just my opinion. But he definitely, just loves gold and hates Bitcoin. Another bear here is Mark Dow. And with this list too, I'm going to go from the most bearish to the most bullish. So the next least bearish one here is the former IMF economist and Bitcoin critic Mark Dow, who has said that he believes that Bitcoin this year could go below 50,000 due to regulatory challenges and lack of confidence. And so this may have been predicted before Trump, I'm not sure. But with what Trump's doing, he's starting to ease a lot of these regulations. So it's hard to believe that the price could drop that far because of lack of regulational clarity and challenges and things like that. That just seems hard to believe as well. But I did want to include those two bears. And then moving on, we have this Christopher McMahon, CEO of Aquinas Wealth Advisors. They integrate ethical investing and religious principles into their financial strategies. And his prediction is that Bitcoin will hit 130,000 plus in 2025. And then next we have Rec Capital. This guy is a popular technical analyst on Twitter and his YouTube channel. And he's known for more level-headed analysis where he doesn't get too bullish or too bearish. And he's predicting 130,000 to about $160,000 Bitcoin based on his technical analysis. And he thinks that we will have diminishing returns, and that's the reason why he's not predicting as high as other people, because we have seen each bull cycle, we have seen the Bitcoin price go up less and less over time, and so he thinks that that's going to continue this year. Then we have another guy with a big X following, and that is 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗫, has a few 100,000 followers on X, And he gives a pretty wide range, and he says anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 based on his technical analysis. And then next we have Bernstein, which is a global investment management firm offering research-driven strategies and wealth management services. And they are predicting 150,000 by 2025 due to increased institutional adoption. And next, as we get into more of these bullish predictions, we have 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝗁, who is a blockchain infrastructure and mining company offering research and mining services. And they're predicting 150,000 plus Bitcoin due to mining profitability and demand growth. So I've seen there that they projected, at the low end 150,000 and even clear up to 400,000 on the top end, which is very, very bullish, getting into that, crazy super cycle territory. Next, we have Alex Thorn. He is the head of research at Galaxy Digital, providing analysis on blockchain and digital assets. And he also is predicting 150,000 plus, but in the first half of 2025, he thinks we're going to hit that. And then the second half, we could reach as high as 185,000 by year end. Then we have Van Eck, one of the top asset management firms, known for their ETFs and crypto-focused investment solutions. And they have a very bullish projection here, getting into these ones that are closer towards 200,000. And they have given a projection as high as 220,000 based on limited Bitcoin supply and rising demand. And I've also seen some more conservative projections from them, around 180,000 for this year. And then we have Standard Chartered, which is a UK-based multinational bank offering wealth management and crypto insights. And similarly, they predict 200 to 250,000 by the end of 2025, citing ETF inflows and halving, which is a good point because we haven't really seen ETF inflows slow down. There's just a steady stream. Next, we have Bitwise, which is another crypto asset management firm providing index funds and ETF for digital assets. And they predict 200,000 plus as well, again, driven by institutional interest and the halving effects. And next, getting into some popular figures in the crypto space with their predictions, we have Fred Kreuger, who is a Bitcoin maximalist, which means he believes in Bitcoin and nothing else, and everything else is garbage. However, and just a little background, he went to Harvard. He's a statistician, mathematician, so a very smart guy. But he recently released his own meme coin just to, show how stupid basically meme coins were, and he's always thought they were very stupid, and the coin is actually called stupid. But this coin is actually doing pretty well. So that's an interesting development with him, but he uses the Bitcoin power law model, which has been proven to be an accurate model of the Bitcoin price, fairly accurate. And he says, based on this model, that Bitcoin can reach $250,000 as crypto adoption increases. And then we have Robert Kiyosaki, who is the Rich Dad Poor Dad guy and big real estate guy. He's also been into gold and silver forever. And recently he's got into Bitcoin and advocates Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. And like Fred Kreuger, he thinks that Bitcoin could go to 250K as well. And now let's get into these crazy predictions like what I mentioned. I'll get to the last one, but before that we have Plan B, which is incredibly bullish. And this is a guy that created the stock to flow Bitcoin model, and that predicts Bitcoin price movements. And he is predicting $300,000 or higher based on the stock to flow model. And I've seen in his past videos, he has mentioned that the range for the stock to flow model for 2025 is topping out between 250,000 and 750,000. So a pretty broad range there, with the average being 500,000, which is extremely bullish and would mean that we're definitely into that super cycle territory, right? And lastly, this is the big prediction, and this is from Larry Fink. And so CEO of BlackRock, leading efforts to bring Bitcoin ETFs to institutional investors. And he thinks that, well, based on the numbers here alone, right, if we get people, institutions, sovereign wealth funds, countries, and other things that allocate 2 to 5% of their portfolios to Bitcoin, just by numbers alone, that would take Bitcoin to $700,000. So that's the prediction, that bullish prediction there, extremely bullish. I do believe this will happen, but the question is eventually, but the question is, will it happen this year? But I think there is a scenario, although it's probably lower probability, where we do have people just rushing in and trying to front run, like I mentioned, in all these countries, wealthy individuals, putting what's basically recommended now from a lot of these wealth funds, 2 to 5% into their funds. And if this happens, then just by the numbers alone, we would see that huge run up there. And I actually went ahead and averaged these 15 projections together, and it's about $207,000, which is in line with, the most common predictions out there, around 200,000. And this fits pretty well with, especially in bull markets, where Bitcoin pretty much on average doubles in a bull market. So I think this is a good prediction, not saying that it's going to happen, but based on the numbers and what we've seen historically, that's not a crazy prediction, right? Now, I did do a video that goes over 5 Bitcoin charts that you really need to know about for this bull run, that can help you figure out how high Bitcoin is actually going to go and where it could potentially top out. So highly recommend that video. If you want to watch it, you can click on it right here. And thanks for watching. Make sure to like if you found this content helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.